Hello students, how are you? Hope you all are enjoying the lessons. So now we'll start our lesson. Today we are going to learn lesson number 35, The King of the Golden River, part 2. Let's start with our lesson. Part 2. Southwest Wind was true to his words. He did not return to Treasure Valley after that night. Neither did any other wind. So, neither Southwest Wind returned nor any other wind returned to Treasure Valley after that night. So, there was no rain, nothing grew in Treasure Valley anymore. The brothers made no more profits. So, there have been rain and the brothers made no profit because nothing grew in Treasure Valley. The wicked brothers then began to make money by selling gold. They melted in a furnace the gold articles they had. They mixed a lot of copper in it and sold the mix as pure gold. Again, they made poor Gluck work in a furnace while they spent money on themselves. So, instead of giving a single coin to Gluck, the wicked brothers spent all the money and made Gluck work in a furnace for melting gold. Soon all the gold in the house was spent. Only one thing was left, a beautiful golden mug that belonged to Gluck. Gluck's uncle had given it to him when he was a baby. Gluck used to drink both milk and water from it. A strange bear face was delicately carved on the mug. Gluck was very fond of the mug. So, all the gold was spent and only one golden mug that belonged to Gluck was left. And that golden mug was gifted to him by his uncle, and he used to drink both milk and water from it. A strange bear face was delicately carved on the mug, and Gluck liked it very much. Fond of the mug means he liked the mug very much. He did not want to part with it, but his wicked brothers only laughed at him and threw the mug in the furnace. They asked Gluck to pour the gold when the mug was melted and went out on some wicked enterprise. So they went out by some wicked work, means bad work, and what they did, they threw the mug in the furnace to melt it. Sadly, Gluck sat down to watch over the mug being melted, but strangely, after some time, he began to hear a voice singing from the furnace. So, when Gluck sat down, seeing the mug melting, he heard a sound singing from the furnace. He lifted the lid of the crucible, means cover of the furnace, and what did he see? The face of his old beard friend on top of the melted gold. Come, Gluck, my boy, said the voice from the crucible. Pour me out, I am too hot. So the voice said Gluck to pour the gold out. Gluck was too astonished. Astonished means surprise. But he took hold of the crucible and tilted it to pour the gold. Though Gluck was surprised, but he took hold of the crucible and tilted to pour the gold out. Instead of gold, a golden dwarf came out of the pot. He was the face carved on Gluck's mug. Pray, sir, said Gluck, rather hesitatingly. Hesitatingly means frightened. Were you my mug? He asked to the dwarf. I am king of what you call the golden river, the golden dwarf told him. He added that another stronger king had turned him into a mug by magic. Glug had freed him from that enchantment. So, the king of the golden river told Glug that he was turned into a mug by magic and Glug has freed him from the enchantment means spell. The golden dwarf went on to say that he had seen how kind Glug was and how wicked and cruel his brothers were. He told Glug a secret. If anyone poured 3 drops of holy water into the river where it started on the mountain top, the river would turn to gold for that person. A person could try this only once, and if anyone put unholy water in the river, he will be turned into a black stone. So saying, the dwarf jumped back into the furnace and disappeared. In this way, the golden dwarf told Glug the secret of the golden river. When Glug told this to his brothers, they did not believe him at first and beat him. But Glug stuck to his story. So at last they believed him and began to fight over who should have the first chance to go to the golden river. They fought so much that the police came to see what had happened. Hans ran away when the police came, but Schwartz was caught and put in prison. Hans was happy that Schwartz was in prison. The very next morning, he went to the church, stole some holy water, and set off for the mountain. It was not easy to climb the mountain. He was tired and thirsty. Soon, Hans thought he would drink some of the holy water himself. Just as Hans raised the flask of water to his lips, he saw a little puppy on a rock. It looked as if it was dying of thirst. Hans only pushed the animal away with his foot, drank some water himself, and passed on. The climb now became more difficult. Hans felt thirsty again. He was going to drink some more of the water when he saw a little child on a rock ahead of him. The child was lying lifeless, its lips parched and burning. Parched means dried and burning. Ignoring the child, Hans drank some more water himself and passed on. So instead of giving water to the child, Hans drank some water himself and went on. The climb had now become very difficult. Somehow Hans reached the top of the mountain from where the golden river sprang. A faint cry fell on his ears. Then he saw a weak old man stretched on a rock. Water, the man said. Water, I am dying. I have no water for you, replied Hans. He jumped over the old man's body and ran to the river. The sun was about to set. The river shone golden in the light of the setting sun. Hans threw the flask of holy water into the river. But alas, the river did not turn to gold. Instead, there was only a black stone where Hans stood. When Schwartz returned from prison, he took some Gluck's money and bought some holy water from a bad priest and set out for the golden river. While climbing the mountain, Schwartz too saw the fair child dying of thirst and passed on without giving him water. As he had climbed a little higher, he saw his own brother Hans stretched on a rock asking for water. But the wicked Schwartz only laughed aloud and went on without giving him any water. Alas, when he cast the flask into the stream, he too was turned to stone. Gluck waited and waited for his brothers, but they did not return. At last, he decided to visit the Golden River himself. He went to a good priest who willingly gave him some holy water. Gluck was young and small, and he too found the climb very difficult. After he had climbed for an hour or so, he became very thirsty. He was about to drink some water when, like his brother, he saw an old man. The old man walked towards Gluck, leaning on a staff, and asked for some water. Gluck saw that the old man was pale, tired, and thirsty. So he gave him the bottle of water. The old man drank up nearly two-thirds of the water. Then he returned the bottle and wished Gluck goodwill. Gluck did not have any water for himself, but as he went on, his path became easier. After climbing for a long time, when he became thirsty, he saw the small child. Gluck was sorry for him and gave him some water. The child began to smile, got up, and ran down the hill. Now only a few drops of water were left in the bottle. When Gluck came close to the mountain top, he was very thirsty himself. Just then he saw the poor little pup that was dying of thirst. I must help it now, thought Gluck, otherwise it may be too late. So he poured the remaining drops into the little dog's mouth. The dog sprang up, and in his place stood the king of the Golden River. He was very pleased with Gluck. The king put in Gluck's bottle some dewdrops from the petals of a lily. Then he told Gluck to cast it into the leaping river. So, when Gluck gave the last drops of water to the dog, it turned into the king of Golden River, and as there was no water left in the bottle, the king of the Golden River put some dewdrops from the petals of a lily and told Gluck to cast it into the leaping river. Cast means throw it into the river that was falling from the mountain. Gluck did so, but the river did not turn to gold. However, it changed its course, means its way, and began to flow through the treasure valley, making it rich and fertile once again. Gluck lived in the valley, helping the poor and needy. His barns were always full of corn, and he never lacked for money. In this way, Gluck was rewarded for his kindness and good heart by the king of the Golden River.